And after 3 hostages were killed by the IDF in Gaza, Israel has taken responsibility for their deaths. The IDF Chief of Staff has taken responsibility for the deaths of 3 Israeli hostages. Israel Defense Forces Chief of Staff Herzi Halevi has stated, and I quote, that the IDF and its commanders are responsible for what happened, and we will do everything to prevent such incidents from recurring in the future. Meanwhile, Israel President Benjamin Netanyahu has emphasized that the country will continue its ongoing war until victory is achieved despite international pressure on Israel. There are still around 10 hostages that are in the captivity of Hamas, and more than 2 months after the conflict began on the 7th of October. Meanwhile, thousands have gathered at a square in Tel Aviv to demand that the hostages still held by Hamas in Gaza be brought home. Arzu, my colleague, is joining us on the broadcast to talk more about this. Arzu, it's become an international flashpoint. Israel killing 3 of its own people, who were held hostage by the Hamas. So, it's very, very evident at this point in time that the criticality and the strategy and the surgical aspect of these strikes is not very foolproof and potent, and it exposes Israel.
Well, certainly, yes, 3 Israeli hostages who were dead in, the protests were seen in Tel Aviv. In fact, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu said that he mourns the death of the 3 Israeli hostages who were mistakenly shot by Israeli troops in the Gaza Strip. However, he also said that Israel will continue its offensive in Gaza until the Palestinian group Hamas is destroyed. So again, we could see, the pace in the war between the Hamas and Israel. It's more than 2 months, and it's still, we could see, the thousands of people are still losing their lives. Also, he said that it's broke my heart, it's broke the heart of the nation. Netanyahu said in a nationwide address, we are fighting for our existence and we have to continue until victory. So you could clearly see the sign that the fight will continue for a longer time until the Israel doesn't get the victory. This is what Netanyahu has mentioned. 3 hostages were killed on Friday in the Gaza City area, where troops were immersed in frenzied fighting with Hamas. All of them were in their 20s, so they were young people who were killed. In Gaza, Israeli military officials said that 3 had been waving a white flag and were shirtless when they were killed. The victims were among more than 240 people taken hostage during an unprecedented attack by Hamas into Israel on October 7, in which around 1,200 people were killed and mostly civilians. In response to Israel declared war against Hamas and bombarded Gaza from the air, imposed a siege and launched a ground offensive, killing over 17,000 people. So, you could see not only, the people, but mostly the civilians have lost their lives in the war continuing between, Hamas and Israel. Yes.
Arzu, also talk about what has been the backlash against Netanyahu after this big blunder.
Well, thousands of people were gathered in front of the IDF in Tel Aviv. They were protesting. They were raising slogans against them because they were the three people who belongs to the Israel, and they were the hostages that were taken by the Gaza. So the protest can be clearly seen in Tel Aviv against the Israeli, because that was something very, the statement was also issued by the IDF and by the Prime Minister itself, that it was heartbreaking. It was unfortunate that they have lost the life, and the 3 people that were under 20, or close to 20 were killed in that unfortunate incident. So also in his address, also Netanyahu appeared to confirm that new negotiations were underway to recover hostages held by the Hamas. So you could see, new negotiations is also underway. He said that Israel's offensive in Gaza helped clinch a partial hostage release deal in November, and both to maintain intense Israeli pressure on Hamas. Also, the instructions, he said, instructions I'm giving the negotiating team is predicated on this pressure, without which we have nothing. So the statement came after the head of the Israeli Mossad spy agency reportedly met Qatari Prime Minister in Europe late on Friday. So this remains to be seen. Is there any new statement? Is new negotiation is underway or not? This remains to be seen. Yes.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.